Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Good evening and welcome to Apex Racing TV for a brand new season of the GT Trophy Pro Season 2 here at the iconic Red Bull Ring. My name is Andy Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary box with Mr. David Whitehouse and Luis Aura on the production box. So welcome to the comms, Dave. Great to have you here. Back, the old faithful, back for the second series of the GT Pro Series, so it should be interesting. We got a brand new grid, 11 new drivers to the championship here today. We've got 9 rounds of 1-hour races, so it should be extremely interesting. I'm really looking forward to the Red Bull Ring. It's one of them really good tracks to start off a championship. But what are your thoughts on it, Dave?
Yeah, it's great to be back for another year of the GT Pro. Like you say, it's going to be a weird season because we actually have none of the race winners from last year. Sven Newman's not here, who was the champion. So it's a completely open field. Just looking through the names, we've got Carl Winkler, who was Sven's teammate, and Dominic Engel, Michael Powlich. That's about roughly it. I can't see many more. I have just noticed my name at the bottom of the timer screen, which means I've entered it wrong, but we'll sort that out. I was just looking, thinking, hang on a minute. But yeah,
that's what
I mean, I can race and commentate at the same time.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I was in the amateur category, and I raced against people like Jovanovski, and their pace was just... It was good enough to be in the pro field, so I wouldn't be surprised with them having the more recent races for them to start off quite well in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, a couple of the AMs have moved up to the pro standings. Obviously, to get into this series, you need to be a minimum of 2.4k iRating to be eligible to enter into the series. Currently got 20 drivers at the moment out on track to contest a brand new winner of a brand new season, of a brand new race, really, here today in the GT Trophy. So it's the spoils are there to be had by a brand new driver, and like you said, you know, it's a completely open field, and you know, it's always good to welcome new drivers to the ARL series, and to have 11 drivers here today is quite amazing. So good luck to them guys who are racing in an ARL league for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be great for them to have the experience. A few of them are names which I've seen round about iRacing, so there is experience there. There's a range of cars, but I don't see a Ferrari on the grid, and I don't see a Mercedes. So it's BMW and Lamborghini mainly, with a couple of Porsches in there. So a lot of people going for the car that won the championship last year, but the surprise is the amount of Lamborghinis, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, when they first signed up, they were looking at the Porsches. I mean, if we revert to last season, Dave, we had a lot of Porsches. It was pretty much a brand new car to iRacing, so everyone was trying to get into the Porsche. But it seems to sort of gone out a little bit of a favour with the drivers. And like you say, the BMW is probably still the hot favourite car. Very, very solid car around most of the tracks, certainly around this track. And then a lot of more drivers are going to the Lamborghini. So, but the Lamborghini is sort of an all-rounder car, isn't it? It's quite good on the straights, very good on the brakes, and good on corner exits. It's probably not the best going over bumps like the BMW is, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see how they are. I mean, in practice, it was the BMWs that were topping the grid, but not by much, by tenths of a second over the Lamborghini guys. And as we can see, we're halfway through qualifying at the moment. The top two are occupied by two brand new races, as we were talking about, Theobald Privot and Odin Maravad in second place, two BMW drivers, but all extremely close at the moment out on qualifying. So the format for people who are not used to this series is they do 10-minute qualifying followed by a 60-minute race. They do have a 60% fuel capacity, so that enforces a pit stop during the 60-minute race, and they also have one fast repair at their disposal to use where they see fit. And this is one of them tracks, isn't it, that you often see a lot of incidences on the first lap. Very fast entries into what are very slow corners.
Yeah, exactly. And turns 6 and 7 is always tricky. One of the first times you turn left on the circuit, and you're looking at Power Horse Corner, turn 6 and turn 7, and the back, if you turn in too early there, the back end will come around whatever car you drive here. So it's really tough to make sure you get through them corners cleanly. The rest of them, obviously, you're leaning on the same tyre every single time, so it's not so bad the heat gets in there. But through them two corners, that side just gets a little bit cold, and it can throw you off balance.
Yeah, I mean, as we're watching here, David Henrik coming up round turn number 1 is a very tricky corner. Got a massive runoff area, but you got a really savage bump on the outside there, and that's probably the optimal place that you're going to get a slowdown. And it's probably the worst place on this track to get a slowdown, because you've got two massive long straights following that, so you will lose more than the time that you have to slow down for that slowdown penalty along these two corners. So that's the optimal one for getting it, and you normally see a few cars going quite wide on that, certainly off the line, off the grid, and then coming down into the hairpin turn number 3, although turn 2 isn't really a turn, it's more like a long arcing left-hander really. Coming up to the hairpin, it always sees a bit of action with cars trying to dive down the inside. So certainly interesting as we see. Oh, a perfect illustration there from David Hendrick of turn number 7 that you turn number 6, the power horse, as you were saying there, Dave.
Yeah, it's just where the back end just gets out of the way, and you just can't snap it back that often in any of the cars. So it's a bit like an ice rink at times through that corner.
It is. I mean, it's a strange one, because you've got to really just let the car roll around the corner. you're off the power quite a lot going around that corner. I mean, I was doing it quite a few times this week in the official series, and it was really frustrating when you're driving a car. You got a car right behind you, and you realise you have to stay off the power for so long till you get past the apex. Otherwise, you go and see the kitty litter on the right-hand side if you try and get on that power or spin it, which is even worse. So a very interesting corner. Same with coming down to Ranch into turn number 4. You know, you're coming off the hairpin, getting up to about 5th gear, and you're trying to slam it down into 2nd gear. And a lot of drivers sometimes get caught out by that corner. I certainly did a few times when I did it this week.
Yeah, it's a strange one, as we've seen in sort of Formula One. Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton colliding there before, and it's a strange corner because you think you can go deep into the first 2 corners because of them being uphill. But as soon as you get there, it's a bit downhill, and you're so used to braking late, but actually a little bit earlier, just be a bit more cautious into there normally does help.
Yeah, definitely. So we're into the final minute at the moment of qualifying, so just quickly run you down the grid. We've got Gilbert Prevot in a BMW currently holding the pole position with a 128.158. You got Odin Miravang in 2nd place, also in a BMW, just 2 tenths off the space. Thomas Wangen, who's you may know from the Porsche Championship, one of the Fox Gaming guys that was there in that, in 3rd place. In 4th place we got Lucas Lang. 5th place got Carl Winkler, where we saw an excellent race between him and his teammates in Interlagos, which was a track that you always ended up saying there, Dave, in the last series. Yeah. But I think you thought it was Hockenheim or something. And, you know, you've got Thomas Culver just managing to get there up into 6th place. So the top of our thing is 4th is the Porsche, the top Porsche, and 5th is the top of the Lamborghinis at the moment, with Daniel Ferrer in 7th. Jovan Jovanovski, who was one of our amateur drivers in the first season of the GT Pro AMS, currently sat there up in the field, so in 8th place. And Thomas Ardens in 9th, with Christian Jutas in 10th. So yeah, all extremely close as we come to expect in this championship, all covered by 1.3 seconds, with top 17 covered by a second, so very close driving.
Yeah, extremely close. It always is around the Red Bull Ring, but it looks like a Dutchman on pole by 2 tenths of a second. 2022 is not that different to 2021, is it?
Yeah, definitely is. All the guys are finishing off their qualifying laps. And Dave, I'll let you run us through the grid for the first race of the season here at the Red Bull Ring when it comes up. Well, people still out on field, are they?
Possibly still out there or returning to a pit, so we'll just wait for the grid. But there's a lovely picture of the Red Bull Ring currently.
You can see the steepness of that first turning, isn't it? It's always one massive uphill. So I'm really looking forward to that first turning, and hopefully all the cars get through nice and cleanly here on the first race, and we don't get a mass pile-up. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that the corner, which is now turn 2, is not really a corner. Yeah, it's not. But since the motorbike started going to Red Bull Ring, they have to class it as a corner. But here is our grid. It's the round 1 of season 2 of the GT Pro Trophy, and it's Prevot on pole position from Mervang, Wangen in 3rd from Lang, Carl Winkler, the first returning driver, in 5th place. We expect he will be a challenger this year, from the Frenchman Thomas Culver. Daniel Ferrer in 7th, with Jovanovski in 8th. Jovanovski, the AM champion, I believe. Thomas Arends in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Jussas. 11th is Henrik from Le Jorte in 12th. 13th, we have Jeremy Bonsudo, Sandro Mancini, Marek Paulich, Orvind Ostland, Dominic Engel. 18th is Marcus Bloom, Fernando Torres in 19th, not the football striker, and Kerem Havers rounds out the top 20.
Some dodgy person there in 21st position.
Yes, I don't know how that happened. I just want
not joining as a watch.
Yeah, I just want some points. I didn't get any in the AM category, so I might as well get some now.
Yeah, so it's the classic rolling start here for the GT Pro Series. You know, luckily we're not enjoying a full lap. Pretty much only the last quarter of the lap to go.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind a full lap around here to get the tyres warm. The one I didn't understand last week in the actual iRacing official races was Watlins Glen for Ferrari Challenge. You had to do the full lap, and it was the full Watlins Glen, and it's like, why? You know, it's so slow anyway. It's a very long lap at the speed the safety car goes. But as you can see, there is our front row men, and some new liveries for us to try and learn. Oh, joy. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yes, but the classic Claw Sim racing colours, so at least there's one we all recognise and know. But yeah, the top three are covered by the BMWs, as we thought. Very quick car. Then we've got a Porsche, 2 Lamborghinis, 2 more BMWs, a Lamborghini, 2 more BMWs. So the BMW seems to be the car of choice at the moment, but this is a 60-minute race, and anything can happen. Certainly on this first lap, where the cars are so closely compact together. One slight issue, certainly coming down into that hairpin, always seems to be one car spins with the close proximity of the rest. It seems to cause a massive car park really at the corner. So let's hope they can all get through. Take it a little bit easy on this first lap.
Just to quickly mention, I think most of the returnees have actually gone for the Lamborghini when they were in the BMW last year, but away we go, and Prevost has hit the throttle very quickly, so we're now single file heading up towards turn 1 as they head behind the trees, and it's Prevost who leads from Mavangan. There is Carl Winkler, returning in 5th place, and he is in the Lamborghini, last year in the BMW, which was so dominant. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens, but the top 2 have pulled away as they head up towards turn 2.
Yeah, great start for Privat, and we're just following him really quite closely, so managing to get a jump start of the rest of the field. Currently 1.5 seconds ahead of Thomas Wangan, who's currently in 3rd place. So the top 7 haven't really changed position at all. The biggest move in the field is Arshan Van Olsen in 14th place up to Marcus Bloom up to in 16th, but no real great checkers. The biggest loser at the moment is Sandro Massini, who's only gone down 3 places from where he started. So there's pretty much, as we come to see in this GT Trophy, you know, a bit calm for the first 15 minutes, and then it sort of really kicks off. But great illustration there of coming around turn number 6, the power horse with 2 wide. It's not really the optimal line going through there. 2 wide, it's asking for a little bit of trouble. But these are pro drivers, so used to the side-by-side wheel action, as we might have a 3 wide here. No, thinking better of it coming around the last couple of corners there, which is another corner really to be single file to get the optimum line out of the last corner coming down the start-finish straight. But pretty much all status quo at the moment all the way down to P7.
Yeah, the drivers will find a lot of off-tracks around here. It's very easy to get them. It was really weird last week in the official races, because I was watching it and thinking, well, or should I say driving in it, and near the start of the race, it sort of allowed a couple of things, as Culliver looks to the inside of Winkler, doesn't make the move this time into turn 2. The off-track sort of built up as the race went on. Like, you'd do something on lap 1, it was fine, but then later on it would catch you out. So the drivers will just, maybe it was my line, probably was, but it felt like the same line. So the drivers just have to be a little wary of that, as you'll see them move over the curb onto entrance to widen up the corner.
Yeah, definitely. We get a great onboard view here of Thomas Culver coming down that hill into turn number 4, the downhill off-camber one that we were talking about, as we come around the powers, off the power for a long time, and then getting on it. You can see how late they have to get on them, or otherwise they get pushed out really wide. Same again for this corner, just so they don't run out of the ultimate pittiness around the right-hand side there, and then they can full power coming down here. Coming down into around about 5th gear, and then coming down into 4th, and literally coasting around this corner again till they get past the apex, get back on the power, down to 3rd gear, hitting the inside, and try not to run that wide there, because that's another place that you can get a slowdown for. So that was a perfect illustration there from Thomas of how to do it correctly.
Yeah, it was a great illustration. I mean, you will see then the drivers running what looks very wide out of the second to last corner. You can afford to go slightly over the curb and not pick up any issues. So you'll see the drivers do that. Why wouldn't you? You know, we've all raced, and you will take every inch you're allowed. Even if you don't think it's right to, you'll go take it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like you were saying, this track is really bad for off tracks. You don't think it would be, being it's quite a flowy track, but it's quite severe, the off tracks, and you do pick them up. And luckily this season, I mean, if you remember back to the last season we had quite a few that had to do drive-through penalties during this 1 hour race. But we've at ARL have increased the off track. It used to be 16 incident points before you got the drive-through. It's now gone up to 20 with 10 after that. So a lot of drivers, I think, will be welcoming that change, certainly on this track, which is extremely easy to get them off tracks, as we've been saying.
Well, I was racing in a championship with MX-5s around here not long ago, and it was 3 races, and somebody picked up 160 incident points along the 3 races. So it's very easy to just pick them up by. I don't even think he did anything seriously wrong. He was just a little wide in the odd corner, or cut the inside a bit too tight, and
there's
you
an off track.
1 or 2, yeah, exactly. And I mean, how he's got 160 in 10 corners on each lap, I don't know, but. Yeah, it's certainly something that the drivers will need to watch out for, because, as you say, it's been extended to 20, and that was Henrik almost running into the back of Juzaz, and Lil George almost taking advantage of that. But yeah, the drivers will need to just be a little bit careful. Don't use them up now. Drivers won't purposely use them up, but you know when it gets to the last lap and you've got a couple to go, you'll push it that little bit further. Just looking at results, Jovanovski down to 15th currently. The champion from the AM category is just having to lost 7 places, so he must have made a mistake on one of the previous laps for C9 Racing. And Jovanovski just finding the start of this a little bit tougher than he might have hoped.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite easy in this round to get swamped by the cars around you. You get pushed offline around this track at the wrong point. You can lose a lot of time on this course and get overtaken by quite a few cars if you get pushed off that racing line. So maybe that's what happened. Or, like you said, probably got it slightly wrong on that first lap coming down. But he's certainly our biggest loser at the moment there in 15th place with Marcus Bloom right behind the BMW driver, the driver from last year. I don't think he won last season. I'll have to have a look at.
I will have a quick look, but I remember him being very quick.
He's one of these drivers. He always reminds me of. His name's completely gone out of my head now, but he's a very quick driver, but he's very erratic. He's certainly one that's going to bloom a lot more as he gets the seasons under his belt. He's a very quick driver, as we saw from his qualifying time. But he does tend to have slight incidents during the races, which puts pace to his races, where he'll have really erratic results, where he'll be down the bottom end of the field one race, and then the next race he'll be up at the top end of the field fighting for first, second place. So, you know, he's one of these drivers that will learn a lot from racing in these leagues and will progress on and on. But one of the established drivers we were just watching there was Marko Palic and Dominic Engel, who are normally GTE drivers, so trying their hand at the old GT3s as we watch Fernando Torres, who's at the back of the field at the moment, just about 6 seconds off 19th place, but just feeling himself around this course and just trying to get himself in. We're only 7 minutes 46 seconds into this 1 hour race at the moment, so plenty of time, and there could be plenty of incidents in front of him, but watching the fights here for P18 for Marsden and Havers coming down the long straight from what is turn 2 up to the hairpin. We've got Havers on the inside just trying to defend that position from the Lamborghini on the outside. The Lamborghini has got a better run than him, but will have the outside line coming down into turn 4. It's vital you do try to get that inside line coming down into this corner. But unfortunately the Lamborghini driver just showing its speed there over the Porsche, managing to get out in front. So Guillaume Havas managing to take or keep hold of that 18th place over the advancing Porsche of Marsden.
Yeah, but down into turn 4, if you've got the inside line, it's very easy to run wide and get done by the cutback. Just having a quick look back at the AM category, I was wrong. Jovanovski was 5th. He managed to get a 2nd and a 1st, but then actually the rest of his results were 16th, 12th, 13th, 19th, 21st and 12th. So he had the speed, like you say, just a little erratic on the results, meaning that the overall result didn't really come out. Sorry to Matt McBride, you were the champion, we haven't changed it, you're okay. You haven't lost it yet.
No, definitely not. I was thinking that. He was the first
I was so far back, I only saw Jovanovski when he spun off.
Yeah, but if we look at this championship at the moment, the top 5 drivers are brand new to ARL Racing. So a really great outing for them guys at the moment as we watch. They're trying to get down the inside there of the Lamborghini, and he should get it done, but it'd be a great straight line speed race between these two, between the Lamborghini and the BMW, and we can see a good indication of the speed difference between the two cars. They look pretty evenly matched at the moment, but Daniel's got that inside line, so we'll have the advantage. But we'll have to see here if Carl Winkler can keep that outside. But no, unfortunately, the BMW managing to get in front of Carl Winkler there, coming down into the powerhouse.
Yeah, it's a close battle between them all. But Carl Winkler, I did also notice all the returning drivers are German as well. So I don't know why that sprung to mind. I mean, it's bad as a sandwich. Yeah, it just things like that stick in my head for absolutely no reason whatsoever. But looking at the race, we're just over 10 minutes in, and Prevost has now got a 2.7 second lead. The Dutchman just pulling ahead from the 2 Norwegians, Maivang and Wangen. Lang has moved up into 4th, and as you said before, now the top 6 are new drivers, with Carl Winkler leading the way of the returnees. And this is just showing what talent there can be in this series. I mean, we haven't got the Sven Newmans from last year, but they have been replaced by new drivers who are just as quick. So Prevost certainly laying down a marker for Valkyrie competition in the number 98.
Yeah, definitely. Getting a good, healthy lead at the moment, 2.9. It seems to be extending it at the moment over Odin Miravang there in 2nd place. Taking around the 2.9, not massively far ahead, but you've got Lucas Lang trying to put a little bit of pressure over the 3rd place Thomas Wangen. So that's probably our highest battle in the top 5 at the moment, with the top 2 currently managing to get a little bit away from this battle we're watching on screen at the moment over 3rd place. It's between Thomas Wangen and Lucas Lang at the moment. So it's BMW versus the Porsche, and yeah, it'd be interesting. Oh, a bit of blink in there, which is not always advisable when you're trying to chase somebody down that quick. But be interesting to see if the Porsche can match and overtake the power of the BMWs on these long straights. So we've got a good view here, looking forward from Lucas Lang's car onto the back of Thomas Wangen's. Just getting right onto the back, coming around into turn 2. Which side he's going to take? He's going to go for the inside line into the hairpin, managing to get his car alongside him. So it's going to be another drag race down, but unfortunately I think the power of that BMW is going to be a little bit too much for the Porsche. And as we see, Thomas Wangen still managing to keep that third place over Lucas Lang, but there certainly is a battle, and Thomas is going to feel like he's in one.
Yeah, it's certainly the closest battle near the front of the field. Looking at the times, actually, the top top 5, sorry, are covered by about 8 seconds. 6th down to 19th covers the next 8 seconds. So that shows you how close this field is going to be this year. Yes, Prevost is running away at the front for now. A 3.4 second gap over an hour is not a lot. So it'd be interesting to see when he might pit. I mean, we know a lot of the drivers go to the end of their fuel tank and just do it that way, but we have seen early pitters, and we have seen early pitters who have done it and then ran out of fuel. So drivers just have to be a little bit wary, and we don't often see anybody successfully pit before minute 24 normally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen in previous seasons, the pit stops are actually quite important in here. You know, we've seen different results from people pitting in early, the normal pit length, or somebody trying to extend it out as far as they can. So it'll be interesting to see who wins out over the battle of the pit stops during this round, which always seems to be, you know, starting around about 28 minutes going into like 40 minutes for the late stoppers. So it'd be interesting to see what the field does here tonight. But you can sort of see on the timing tower there from P6 all the way down to say P13. It's just a big long line of car with Thomas Culver just heading that train in P5, but they're all lining up right behind him at the moment to capitalise on any slight mistakes that any one of these drivers might have. So there's plenty of positions to be had in this race already. So it'd be interesting to see what happens to that 5th place and who comes out on top on that battle.
Yeah, I mean, these are professional drivers, so they should, touch wood, not have any issues in the pit stops, but we have seen people overfuel before. Myself, I'd run a crew chief, so he just does it for me, but because I used to have to do the maths in the middle of the race. Now, if you've got to turn him on, or you've got some other things to do, yeah, is that
Hendrick?
Hendrick, yeah, Hendrick down to 19th. We'll see what happened here.
Don't think the replay's working as it should.
No, we did have a slot.
No, that was he was just avoiding. I think.
Yeah.
He was avoiding Hendrick. We were watching Sandro Marcini there, who was the driver behind Hendrick. So it was obviously going into the second to last corner. Now he probably went in a little bit too hot, tried to put on his brakes, and then sort of slid out slightly to the wide. It looked like that's what happened to him there.
Yeah, we just to explain to some people, we did have an issue the other day on one of the broadcasts through iRacing where we're actually, the replays you guys saw were not replays us as commentators see. So you see the right thing, but we don't always. So yeah, just stick with it. You'll see what you need to see, and we'll commentate on what we can see. It's not an issue we have. It's just an iRacing thing, so we're trying to sort it out.
Yeah, our professionalism is above reproach. As we currently watching Anders Lindegaard in 11th place, followed by Rash Olsen, one of his fellow countrymen there in 12th place in the BMW. So BMW in a good place here, got the slipstream, the overpower that it has naturally on the pushes on the long straight, so should get the job done coming down here, going through turn 2 and down into the hairpin as we look back from Anders. However, I think he's not catching as much as I thought it would do, actually. So here it comes right at the end, but unfortunately running out of room, and Anders still managing to secure that 11th place. Obviously the setups are down to the individuals, so maybe Anders is running a lower down force wing than Rash Olsen is in the 12th place.
Yeah, possibly, very much so. The drivers will run whichever setup they would like. There's Jovanovski for C9 Racing looking to be inside of Rashid Olsen. Or is that Jovanovski being passed by... Oh, sorry, it's just Jovanovski being passed by Bloom. Bloom trying to right round the outside. Will he be able to make that work? I'm not sure he will, but he's going to try. No, he doesn't make that work. I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's very difficult to pull it round the outside of there.
He will. He will be right on him. Yeah, I thought he would be, because Jovanovski was right on that inside, which would have compromised his speed. And Bloom managing to keep his speed really well around that section and overpowering him down there. And as we see there, the car's going out extremely wide. Is Marcus Bloom managing to get the pass done on Jovanovski, but Jovanovski's actually right behind him. But what that has done now is Bonsandu in 15th place has come and joined the party in his Lamborghini. So we've got, how would you say it then, Dave? A BMW sandwich, or would you call it a Lamborghini sandwich?
Yeah, I've heard of this one before. Yeah, I'll allow everybody else to judge this one, but you call it a ham sandwich normally, so surely that's a BMW sandwich. But yeah, this is going to run and run for the whole year, I think. So we'll see. I think I need to go ask Crofty or somebody like that and just get an official answer. Something was popped up on the Discord, to be fair, but I haven't really had a chance to read it. But anyway, back to the racing instead of sandwiches, because you're making me hungry. We're looking
we've got Austin. Well, we've got Austin in the chat, so I'm sure he'll give us his expert commentary opinion on what denotes the combination of the sandwich. But not to make you too hungry, Dave, we'll move on to the racing.
Good news for Austin, he's just been called an expert.
I've got to big up the Americans every now and then.
Yeah. So currently we are watching battle with Bonsuedo, looking at Bloom. Jovanovski back ahead. He's just crept ahead, and this battling is not helping. They're dropping back from the two Norwegians in front in 11th and 12th, and this is sort of a crucial stage of a race. If you're started battling now, you're trying to get a position for a pit stop, as Jovanovski goes very defensive for... Oh no, he's laying... Has he got a slow down or something? He's going very slowly.
Yeah, I mean, take that last corner a little bit too wide and you get a slow down, and we can just see there, obviously, Jovanovski losing literally 4 places off a slow down there, and losing quite a lot of time to Olsen up in the 11th place. So they're quite savage, them slow downs.
Yeah, they really are, if you're just picking them up slightly wrong. But currently still, I mean, these are some of the closest battles on track, but the lead is still 4.7 seconds for Prevost. He's got a nice buffer there for when he does his pit stop at the moment. That's enough for sort of a quick-ish in and out lap, rather than absolutely having to push it to the limit. The same is for Maivang in 2nd place. He's got 2 seconds over Wangen, but Wangen and Lang, 0.4 of a second between them. That will be crucial with the in and out laps on how even how they stop for the pit speed limit line. That could make the difference.
Yeah. One thing we haven't talked about, Dave, is obviously that pit entry. You know, it's quite a treacherous pit entry. It's on the corner as these guys going through now. You'll see it on the right-hand side. You know, going around this extremely fast corner, you've got to slow down to hit that pit entry. And also, it's quite a long pit entry, so it can catch people off. And as we see there in the background, the yellow cones, that line comes really quick, so you've got to make sure you slow down for that, because as we watch, I think that was that Dominic
Powlich, I think that was. Oh no, we've gone forward towards Powlich's group, so yeah, it possibly was Angle.
I
was just about to say Harvis has dropped down a position, but it did say out for a minute, so whether he had spun towards pit lane, I'm not too sure. Yeah. But we're now looking at the battle for 9th place. This is not 9th place. This is a battle for 5th place. Culliver's just up the road slightly, but our returning driver Carl Winkler has closed in on Ferrer, and this battle is for 6th place. And this is maybe where a little bit of experience from Carl comes in. He's done all these hour-long races before. Not that the others might not have, but he's done them in this championship. He knows that generally they don't change tyres in this championship, because the pro drivers are used to doing an hour stint easily on these tyres. But Carl knows when he can start pushing these tyres. He knows how it generally works. Not saying the others won't, but that experience from last year might just come into play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see there 3 teammates, all of course in the space from 7th, 8th and 9th there. Just gonna hopefully try to work together, but they do have that pesky BMW that's in between them there of Judd's in 9th place, just spoiling the on-camera show of the team cars there, I imagine. But as you see, always, I think he just trying to get up the inside there of Orange, did just not managing to get the move done, but certainly letting his presence be known there, the BMW driver of Judd's there in 9th place. As we look back at Malcolm Paulich, another returning GT Trophy Pro Season 1 driver in 10th place at the moment. He's not having the best of rounds, still midfield at the moment, but only 23 minutes into an hour-long race, so still plenty of time to go on. And yeah, we did see a few drivers in the pit stops in the last season, certainly in the AM season, get fall foul of that 40-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, not slowing down before that. And I think, you know, this is probably one of the hardest tracks, or the easiest tracks to actually hit that slow down marker at the wrong place and get that slow down 40-second penalty. So that literally puts paid to your races. And I think we saw it a few times last season in the AM Championship with drivers at the front of the field managing to get caught. So that's something that drivers need to be aware of when they come in for their pit stops.
Yeah, bang on 24 minutes. Havertz comes in. I think he's got a little bit of damage as well, which is why he's pitting early. But this battle is for 3rd place. Lang is leading from Wangen. Lang managed to, these two were swapping positions left, right and centre on the last lap. I just saw the timing screen, couldn't decide who was ahead. But now Wangen gets a slipstream off Lang. The other thing around a circuit like this with fuel mileage is the slipstream. It could be crucial in terms of how long you have to sit in the pits. So Lang has been towed along by Wangen for a good 24 minutes. He could have saved himself a little bit of fuel in that time, and now decided to put his foot down and try and catch up on the 2nd place car of Mavang. So it'd be very interesting to see whether he has saved any fuel during this, but his pace is definitely better than Wangen's at this stage.
Yeah, I would expect the Porsche to be quite strong around this part of the section. It's very a twisty part of the track, and then obviously the front half of the circuit, I would expect the BMW to be the more powerful, as it is a faster straight line speed car. But Lucas Lang there pulling out a little bit of a gap over Wangen, but Wangen's still in that slipstream, so should close the gap up coming down here into the hairpin. But what these two have been doing, I think, exceptionally well, as we've seen at the opposite end of it further down the field, is they've actually still been working well together to not let Miravang get away from them in front of him, so still managing to keep that 2-second gap as well as fighting quite hard. But yeah, I think you're right there. Lang's looks like he's put the hammer down a little bit, and Thomas just starting to drop off the back slightly of Lang there in 3rd place, but still well within touching distance on there, as we watch Marsden kind of taking a huge pit stop there for himself. So unless he didn't click his fast repair, he's extremely long pit stop.
He has been in that battle with Havertz earlier on, so I wonder whether maybe they both picked up a bit of damage. But as you can see, none of the top 18 have actually pitted yet, and only covered by 31 seconds. So say Prevost pits now, he's still going to come out behind Torres, most likely. So that shows you that these drivers a bit, you'll see it in normal, I say normal racing, say Grand Prix racing, where you're looking for that gap in the traffic because you have the pace. You don't want to get stuck behind somebody. At the moment, nobody can take that early stop as Dominic Engel pops in, because they're going to fall to the back of the field and be very quickly catching up with drivers like Torres and Henrik, and then you're going to be in trouble because everybody else near the top is going quicker than you. So you don't want to do that. If you're Prevost, for example, you probably want to wait until the very last minute to do pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly right, is forcing the issue. I think it's around about 28 seconds for a normal pit stop here. In fact, there you go. It's Dominic Engels in the pits at the moment. He's just coming out, so we can see the time that he's set 18.2 stationary for fuel. It's looking around about 48.9 seconds. So yeah, it would be round back of Torres. So I think it's sort of forcing a lot of the drivers to go as deep as they can within this, certainly the front runners within this race, to enable them not, like you say, to be put behind slower drivers, which could impact them later on when the round of pit stops are over.
Yeah, just having a quick look in the chat, I can see a few supporters for Maivang and Lucas Lang, so the support is there for the drivers. Obviously they won't be seeing it at this stage. Well, there might be. I do know drivers who watch stream and race at the same time. As we have Jasaz in the pits, he was coming in from about 10th place, so that's the first of sort of the midfield to pit, and Torres also in, so that opens a little bit more of a gap. I think Torres was about 5 seconds off Hendrick, so Torres pitting, it just lets that extra 5 seconds for people like Prevost or maybe Wangan, who wants to leapfrog Lang in the pit stops, to pit early and then push in clear space. I wouldn't suggest it just yet. I'd let a few more pit, but as we look at Bonsuedo just trying to close up on the back, and here is Maivang in second place. We haven't seen a lot of him, it's been very quiet, but Lang is keeping him honest at this stage. It looked like he was going to have a very quiet race in second place, but Lang closing in, and I think he's just trying to get as close as he can to try and get that leap in the pit stops.
Definitely. I'm just looking at the fastest lap times, and Lewis Lang is not far off the fastest lap at the moment. It's on a 128.86. I believe the only other driver to get in the 128s is Theoban Prevot, who's in first place at the moment, who's got the fastest lap of a 128.55. So Lucas Lang in that Porsche is getting everything he can out of that car, and at the moment he's sort of closing the gap ever so slightly on Miravang in front of him at the moment. So the Porsche, the setup he's got in that Porsche, he seems to have got it dialed in correctly, and he's managing to obviously lose a BMW behind him and obviously try and catch the BMW in front of him. So yeah, he's certainly flying at the moment. Is Lucas Lang currently sat in third place, and he's all out on his own. And I think Thomas Wangan, yeah, he's in pits. Decided to go into the pits. So what was his pit time there? Let's have a look.
It looks like he was stationary for 19.7.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag of times. You got 16.77. The lowest, which was Kerman Havertz, he stopped on lap 16. And then we got Thomas Wangan, who stopped on lap 20, taking 19.78. So somebody might have got it slightly wrong there, but it's around about 18 to 19 seconds where Thomas seems to have put on a little bit of fuel, but currently sat in 15th place, but he is the top at the moment of the pit stoppers.
Yeah, he's got a nice gap, about 18 seconds to Henrik, who will probably pit by the time he gets up there, because he may be getting a second a lap or something at maximum. So it'll be really interesting to see as Maivang pops in a 29.0. I was having a look actually at the timing, and Carl Winkler is currently going along quite nicely on 29.1s. 29.2's just behind him, so for Aaron's, and Powell literally's pushing him along 29.4 latest lap. So these drivers now started to push that a little bit harder. Now they know other people are pitting, and probably hoping that they can overcut the drivers who are pitting early.
Yeah. It also helps if you've got your teammate just in front of you that you can work together. Certainly if you're on the Discord, which I'm pretty sure them guys will be, but they can work together to utilise and maximum effect of the slipstreams and pretty much swap positions, but to obviously gain the time from the advantage of having the slipstream. But at the moment we're just watching Thomas Arons currently in 7th place with Carl Winkler just in front of him there in 6th place. And in 5th we've got Daniel Ferrer at the front of this in his BMW, just halving the air for these two Lamborghinis behind him.
Yeah, it's been a really clean race as well so far. I was just thinking, we've got 19 drivers still running. It seems like Marcin Saini will be staying in the pits now. He's 4 laps down, but we'll see what happens there. But Torres, only 1 minute 14 off the lead, and he's pitted. So will we see drivers get lapped today? I'm not even too sure of that, which will show how quick. As Carl Winkler heads to the pits, he has got fed up of being part of that train, so he heads to the pits. So does Bloom from 11th and Henrik from 14th. So the gaps are now opening up for people like Wangen if he can start setting the lap times. Let's just have a look what he did. He did a 2-minute 2 on his out lap. So we'll just wait for him to cross the line this time by to see what he does as his quickest lap. But there is second place, Ordin Maivang, who is holding the gap to Lucas Lang at the moment. The lap times are quite similar. Nowhere near Prevost, probably about 0.4 of a second a lap slower. Wangen just did a 29.9, so Wangen not quite got the pace straight out the pits, which he probably wanted, considering Lang is doing a 29.2.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to take into effect that the tyres would have cooled down slightly, so this lap will be a more competitive lap, I would imagine, because you always find when you come out of the pit lane, you do lose that little bit of temperature out of the tyres, so it is a little bit slower, but he certainly needs to get a push on if he wants to try and jump Lang for that third place. But at the moment, Lang is he just seems to be on fire, so it's going to be hard for Thomas when he does decide to come in, Lucas Lang, if he can try and jump him, which at the moment I don't think he can. He's just losing too much time sat down there in P12, but he is still top of the pit stoppers at the moment. We've got 25 minutes, just over 25 minutes left of this race to go. We still got 11 cars still to pit from P1 all the way down to P11 still to pit at the moment, as we see Rouse Olsen just going into the pit lane from 9th place. So it'd be certainly interesting to see, and it's always interesting when they come out after the round of pit stops is where they all lie and who's the biggest winners and who's the biggest losers of the pit stop strategy. So we'll I'm sure find out in the next 5 minutes of who comes out top.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the gap actually. Carl Winkler only 4 seconds behind Wangen, so he's definitely gained a little bit of time in these pit stops. Wangen's time last time by a 29.6, so he is not finding any more pace than he would have done sitting 3rd and 4th. But he is trying to close in 18 seconds to Jovanovski, who's running in 10th at the moment, not pitted. Looking at the pit stop time, so we had about 16.9. and most of them are around 18, 19 seconds. So there's not much to gain at the moment. As Ordin Maivang and Lucas Lang have both headed to the pit lane, so these are crucial stops. Can they come out ahead of Wagner? Lang, Culliver's in, Ferrer's in, Ahrens is in, Paulich is in, Lejort is in. So all the drivers headed in, apart from the leader Prevost, who has been out on his own for the whole race. No slipstream whatsoever, but seems to have managed to stretch the fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine he would come in on this lap. Same with Jeremy Bolzano there, who's moved up 11 places to second, but currently hasn't pitted at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see now where Miravang Lang comes out in respects to Thomas Wangen. At the moment, he's not really moved up. There he goes. We can see him moving up now into 6th position, so managing to stay in 6th. So he's lost out for Thomas Culver there in 5th place. So not a great pit stop strategy for Thomas Wangen, who was fighting for that 3rd place with Lang. Obviously, we've got the 2 drivers in the front. Prevost, who should keep where he is at the moment, but Jeremy Bolzano is probably the one out of position at the moment, hasn't pitted yet. So, you know, the positions as we see Prevost just going into the pit lane now of race leader, as we should see Jeremy Bolzano come into the pits on this one, which will give it Miravang in 2nd, Lang in 3rd, Culver in 4th, and Thomas Wangen in 5th. But he's not that far behind Thomas in 5th place, so it'd be interesting to see if he can. But that couple of laps there from Lewis Lang has pulled out a decent lead over what was a second over Thomas Wangen. So certainly 5 seconds ahead. So he certainly won out on the battle of the pit stop strategies.
Yeah, Bonsuedo also into the pits just as Prevost is on his way back out. So that shows you a gap which was between them two. Just looking at the pit stop times, we had Ahrens who did a 17.7 in the box, which was pretty handy, but Prevost just pops in a 17.08 in the pit stop, so just pulls out a little bit more of a gap if he didn't need it already.
Yeah, currently stretches the lead to 11.6 seconds over second place Miravang. Odin Miravang there in second place. Lucas Lang has managed to get a little bit more time there over Miravang, so I think that battle for second place is certainly going to be hot as we watch the battle here for Thomas Onen and Carl Winkler battling it out.
No, it's Carl's just behind him.
No, it's just behind him, hasn't he?
Yeah, Carl actually, even though I said he was going really well when he come out the pits and being really close to Wangen, he's actually, Ferreira goes up the inside of Aaron. No, that's Aaron's up the inside of Ferreira. Yeah. And Carl Winkler just behind. As I say, Carl Winkler, I thought he was really close to Wangen, but because Wangen had that poor outlap and dropped behind Culliver, that means Winkler's dropped behind from about 5th or 6th to 8th at the moment. So a returning driver just ahead of his teammate Michael Pawlich. And we've again got 3 of the Core Sim Racing 1 drivers in a line with a BMW spoiling the team picture, really.
Yeah, definitely. But we saw there Thomas Arms just flashing his lights to Daniel Ferreira flashing his lights to Thomas Arms there in 6th place. Obviously trying to get past him the best he can. He's in the best position to try and make a move down here. He just needs a really good exit out of this turn 1 to stay on the back of the Lamborghini car of Thomas Arms number 23 to try and get that power. But it's sort of almost like a patch has come out where the BMW used to power past drivers. Now it seems to be more like on par, unless they've buffed the Lamborghini, but getting it slightly side by side there, trying to take that inside line, but unfortunately scrubbing off too much speed, and Thomas Arndt still managing to keep that first. And now Daniel Ferreira is under pressure from Carl Winkler behind him in yet another Lamborghini.
Yeah, I'm going to use that excuse for BMW. When I was racing, it was a patch that made it slow. It wasn't the driver. Just to mention, actually, we were talking about being a lap down and things like that. I was very wide for a Ferrer, giving Winkler a good run at him. Doesn't quite make it through. Marek Pawlich having a look at Carl Winkler now. But the top 19 runners so far, covered by 49 seconds. To score points in the championship, you have to be within 2 laps of the leader. So right now, we're not even going to be looking at any drivers being lapped. That shows the high quality of this field this year. And the high quality of the opening lap we had as well, where we haven't had any drivers needing to pit on the opening lap for damage or anything like that. So fair play to all the drivers getting through the opening lap of the season, no damage, and looking like everybody's was in with a fair chance in this race.
Yeah, it's been an exceptionally clean race, which is what we always tend to normally see in the Pro Championship. But even saying that, the AM Championship last season was just an excellent display of car control throughout the whole season. This GT Pro Series is a really good one to drive. And, if you fancy having a go in it, go over to apexracingleague.com and sign up for the championship. Plenty of spots left. And as you get a drop round in this championship, you won't actually lose any points, and you can still fight for the championship. So head over to apexracingtv.com, apexracing.com and leagues.com, and you can sign up for the league and come and join these drivers on track as long as you've got above 2.4k iRating.
Yeah, come and give it a go and see. We had a few drivers who
You've had a go, mate, haven't you? You've had a go at it.
I wouldn't say it was a fair go, but yeah,
you didn't do much practice.
I didn't do much practice, to be fair, but you made sure that you were commentating on that one for sure. With the pro drivers though, these drivers are certainly putting in practice and certainly got the setup tuned and things like that, especially when you've got the teams sort of like I think Winkler, Powlich, Aarons and Engel are all sort of the same stable, so they will probably be spending a session this week on the next track, getting the setup right, sharing it out, making sure that they can get the best result possible for the team's championship. As we look at the privateer of Havertz here, having a go at or fighting with Lil Jordet, and he's on a good run at the moment for Turkish driver. He was one of the earlier ones to pit, but it seems to have worked out for him, and he's back up into 11th place now. I think he was running mid-teens before, but it's certainly gained him quite a few positions, and he'll be chasing after Rash Olsen before long.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he has enough fuel, because he was the one that took the least amount of fuel, but stopped on lap number 16. The majority of people stopped to lap 24 and took 18 seconds of fuel, so 1.5 seconds less of fuel and 4 laps earlier. So it'll be interesting to see if Kerm Havertz, currently running around in 11th place, is enough fuel to finish this race. But obviously, where you mentioned about setups, a big thank you to a couple of our sponsors for this series, Virtual Racing School. They do over 50 plus data packs for all road and oval racing. They include setups, track guides, data analysis software, and they also do one-to-one coaching. And another one of our main sponsors, Apex Racing Academy, they've got 29 data packs with setups, track guides, and that's fully integrated with the VRS system as well. So if you get both of them, they talk to each other and give you even more in-depth setups, guides and everything like that. They also do weekly group coaching sessions, plus many more. So head over to Apex Racing Academy ac.com or virtualracingschool.com to see what sort of packages they can do, because having a good setup in these races is vital. I mean, you could be a really good racer, but if you've got the wrong setup in your car for the track that you're currently racing on, it can put paid to your race quite easily.
Yeah, really easily. So it's quite crucial in the end, but most of these drivers, being pro drivers, will have a decent setup of sorts. The BMW has finally got past Aaron, so the team picture can now be taken for anybody in the Simcore racing team, as the MTK Budapest Esports driver is up into 6th place and now trying to lead that train up towards Culliver, who is still has been passed by Wangen at some point in the last couple of laps, and Culliver still hanging on to the back of Wangen though, and will be wanting to fight back to get that 4th place.
Yeah, definitely. You can see it all hotting up at the top end of the grid. Lang managing to keep that 4-second gap over Wangen in 4th place, and then you got Miravad, who's got a 5-second gap over Lang in 3rd place. So the top sort of 3 at the moment have got a little bit of air between each one of themselves, but certainly that battle for 4th place with Thomas Wangen and Thomas Culver is certainly heating up at the moment, with only 0.3 of a second between the two drivers. And then we've got another battle there in 6th place between Darren Ferrer and Thomas Ardens, with Carl Winkler and Malcolm Powlich just behind him. So you've got these little pockets of battles on the track, but we're currently watching the battle for 4th place between Thomas Wangen and Thomas Culver. We thought he might have damaged his pace with the pace he was when he came out of his pit stop, but still managing at the moment to secure that 4th place. Is the what I would normally count as a Porsche driver in a BMW car at the moment, currently in 4th place, but he's got Thomas Culver there in 5th place, the French driver, just trying to keep him honest and just waiting to capitalise on any sort of mistake that Thomas Wangen will make in front of him. It's always a bit unnerving when you see a car behind you in the rear view mirror that close to you. It almost forces you to make them slight mistakes that you wouldn't normally make, or try and push in that little bit further into the corner. So Thomas doing the best job he can there in 5th place to keep the other Thomas honest in front in 4th place.
Yeah, he's all over the back of him and just keep, like you say, keeping him honest, trying to get him to break just that little bit too late. Back in 11th, Havertz has just set a 29.1, so he is absolutely flying at the moment. Best middle sector of his race so far as well, into the 38s there. He's actually the quickest on that lap in the middle sector. So I just wonder whether, has he short fuel slightly, just expecting splash and dash and try? I mean, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense to myself, but maybe he's just, or maybe he's just absolutely nailed the strategy. We'll soon find out.
Yeah, we got coming into the last 12 minutes of this race. I mean, where's the time gone? 48 minutes in so far. Currently done 32 laps of this iconic racetrack. It'd be interesting to see the incidents. I don't know what sort of incidents everybody's on at the moment, but nobody managing at the moment to come through on a drive-through penalty, which is always good because it's terrible when your race is put paid to that pesky drive-through for hitting that incident level. But currently at the moment, Thomas Wangen under all sorts of pressure from Thomas Culver there in the Lamborghini in 5th place, just right behind him, but just not getting that cutting edge to be able to get that overspeed, even with the slipstream coming down here into there. But this may be different as he pulls alongside him onto his outside. Not going to make it happen here. Thomas will have that inside covered to push him on the outside, but could have the cutback coming down into turn number 4, coming down into Ranch. So he's got his car alongside now. That was a brilliant move, and he'll have the inside line, which should give him onside, but Thomas needs to make sure he just stays on his outside, which will give him the inside coming down into the powerhouse, which is the advantage where you want. So we see him side by side coming into the powers. Thomas Wangen just getting in the front, and Thomas just neatly just falling back into line, thinking better of going 2x2 into that corner, which is but at the moment it's just when, not if, that Thomas Culver in 5th position will try and take that Thomas Wangen in 4th. But really good battle for the last 5 laps. These guys have been going at it, just not getting that decisive move as Thomas. It'll be interesting when he does get in front, if he can actually get away from Thomas Wangen in the BMW, or if it's going to be a tussle right to the finishing line of these two.
Yeah, it was an interesting one in the as we go on about overtakes from the Undercut Racing team car. In the VRS Endurance, a lot of people, even when being lapped, were very careful under the brakes, not being very authoritative on the brakes to overtake people, and that's crucial around this circuit because you do the overtakes all on the brakes. There isn't really a straight long enough to just fly past somebody and carry on. As Dominic Engel heads to the pits, I don't know if he's got a bit of an issue, but he's back in the pits. Let's hope he put enough fuel in. He's come back out, so maybe he had a drive-through penalty there, so that may have been our first one of the race.
Yeah, definitely. As we just continue watching this battle at the moment for 4th place between Thomas Wangen in the BMW, car number 61, and car number 55, Thomas Culver in the Lamborghini. So it's been a big resurgence, certainly in this championship for the Lamborghini. It's good to see the car making a return. I mean, it's just a fantastic looking car, that Lamborghini. I think it's probably the best looking car in my opinion on iRacing. It just looks so mean and aggressive. It always looks like you could probably get underneath that BMW, being such a big beast that it is.
Yeah.
But, looking at it, status quo at the moment, another lap down, only 9 minutes left of this race. So Thomas Culver just running out a little bit of time each lap to try and make the pass on Thomas Wangen. But Thomas Wangen's actually doing really well under the pressure that he's being put under, and just managing to keep him at arm's length. And when he does get alongside him, he's putting himself in the best position for the next corner to retake it. So Thomas is doing an excellent job there, managing to keep that 4th place over Thomas Culver. So we'll certainly feel that he's earned that 4th place if he manages to keep it by the end of the race. But one of the other races, you can look further down in the field there, is for P6 between 4 cars of Darren Ferrer, Thomas Arns, Carl Winkler and Malcolm Paulich. Again, all 4 of them still sort of locked in the back. Oh, Michael Pallet just falling off the back end. But these three at the moment, I think they've been joined together probably for about over 3/4 of this race, just jostling for position at the moment. You can see Daniel just managing to win out at the moment at BMW in 6th place, with Thomas Arns just behind him in 7th and Carl Winkler in 8th. So this is another battle I think is going to go right down to the wire and right down to the line.
Yeah, it's going to be really...
That was a mistake there by Daniel.
Yeah, just running out wide, and Aaron's not needing any invitation to make it through. It looks like Christian Juzas is in the pits and out of the race, so he will be not scoring today. So we're down to 18. I did notice a bit further back that Kerem Havertz is past Orvid Rash Olsen up into the top 10, setting 29.2s and only 4 seconds back from this group. So the Turkish driver having an absolute storm in the second half of this race. And could he gain onto the back of this pack in the last 7 minutes? It will be a tough job to do so. If they keep fighting, he's only 3 seconds back, pick up a little bit of slipstream, he'll be there and just making Marit Paulich's life just that little bit harder.
Yeah, you can see lap 34 there, Havertz just managing to get 0.157 above, but then Paulich pulling out second on the last lap. That may be a passing move from Havertz, and Olsen just maybe compromising his line there, but certainly getting quite close to Paulich towards the back end of this. I think he's going to run out of time. I don't think he'll get onto the back, but other things are. I'm more concerned about the fuel that he's got left in that car. Obviously stopped on lap 16, the lowest pit stop out of the whole entire field, only 16 seconds, 16.77 seconds to be precise. So has he got enough fuel, and has he calculated? And this has been a masterstroke, because like you said, he wasn't really there in the first half of the race, but now he's sort of come up strong, managing to get up into P10, and he's up 10 places from where he started. So, you know, a great race for the Turkish driver there, sat in 10th place.
It does make me kind of think he may have screwed up qualifying.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably why he was 10 places back. I mean, you do see that quite often. As the battle behind, here comes Aaron's up the inside of Ferret. Now, we've seen this happen a couple of times, and the driver on the outside gets a run out, but they stay equal as they head towards turn 4, and that's going to give the inside line to the Corsim Racing 1 driver, as two Dutch, it's a Hungarian trying to pass, sorry, the Hungarian going around the outside of the Dutchman. They're still side by side, they touch slightly, but just about get away with it, and it's the Dutchman who stays just ahead as they go into turn 6. But a very close battle. This has allowed Carl Winkler to come in and apply some pressure to the BMW, and Paulich is right on Winkler's tail. Now, these three will obviously be very careful of each other, being in the Teams Championship. But again, this battling is holding up people, and Kerem Havertz is coming at them. He's 1.7 seconds behind at the moment, so he still needs them to fight that just a little bit harder, and it's not happening because they're all teammates.
Yeah, definitely, but obviously with Darren there in 7th place, not being a teammate of this Corsim, he's fighting with them all the time, and obviously you can see the compromising lines that they go through when they get side by side, and like you say, that does give Calvin in 10th place an opportunity to try and get onto the back of it. I didn't think he'd be able to get it done. Got 4 minutes left, so probably about 3 laps left of this race to go. He's gaining all the time on him as we watch Michael Paulich going down the inside of Carl Winkler to try and take that position back. In fact, no, it's status quo where they were, but you can see him in the background there, the black and blue Lamborghini is not that far away. He'll be in the slipstream now of Carl Winkler in front of him, so he'll be joining the battle here, and feeling that he could nick a couple more spaces from where he started. So it'll be a great day out in. I mean, he's the biggest mover in the field, up 10 places like you said, and you're probably right there, he probably did mess up the qualifying, but to race back from 20th and then get yourself onto this battle here for 7th place is for 6th place is you know, he's put himself in the right spot, let's just say. I'm just hoping he's got enough fuel to get to the end, because that would just be disastrous if he didn't.
Yeah, we have Jovanovski, who has crashed and jumped towed to the pit, so he is obviously hit the wall hard somewhere with a bit of damage. So unfortunately, the graduate from the AM category is looking like he won't finish this race with 3 minutes to go. Hopefully he might just get out for it. But Havertz 28.9. That is, well, yeah, that has definitely put him into it.
Yeah, he's only a tenth of a second slower than the first place driver at the moment. So really on a charge. I mean, where has he found this speed? I mean, his last lap was a 128. This one's a 128. He's just found his form at exactly the right time. I just hope it's not that little bit too late, but now he is right onto the back of the group. But we join back up again with the battle for this 4th place between Thomas Wangen and Tom Kova there in 5th place. He just can't seem to find that cutting edge to get past Thomas at the moment in 4th place. So the Norwegian doing an exceptional job of just holding off Thomas Kova there in 5th place. So a great display of car control from Thomas, and he must be under all sorts of pressure having that car behind him for the last 20 minutes, literally biting his heels.
Yeah, and they haven't actually dropped that far away from Lang, to be honest. They're only 5 seconds back from him. So Lang hasn't had that tremendous pace we were seeing just before his pit stop, and he's dropped 7 seconds back from Movang. But then at the front, Prevost 15 seconds clear. This is like a Sven Newman type performance from to compare it to season 1. And you know, for our sakes, maybe we hope somebody will be a bit closer in the next round, but it just shows he's switched on at this circuit and dominated so far with a minute to go. Havertz doing another 28.9 last time for his fastest lap of race. So maybe he wishes it was about 2 hours long, as he now looks to the inside of Winkler, doesn't quite make it through. It's 4 Lamborghinis against 1 BMW now. And to be honest, Havertz has nothing to worry about. He's got no one behind him. He can just go for it. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can make a move as they probably go. I would say they're probably going around for the last lap next time round.
Yeah, I mean, he's about half a second faster than the guys in front of him. Yeah, he's had the clear track to be able to do the times, but you know, so have a lot of these the drivers in front, but they're still putting in like mid to high 129s, whereas Kevin in 10th place is putting in 128. So he's got to feel that he's got an opportunity here to gain some more places, and it'd be interesting to sort of see. But you know, looking at the time in the tower, Dave, it's been a great outing for the first-time drivers. That Theobald Prevost, who's obviously from Valkyrie, a very good stable of drivers, so I'd expect him to be a quite quick driver anyway there, sat in first place. But great Odin Marabad, first race in 2nd place. Lucas Lang, first, 2nd place.
The 2 at the front deciding they might try and wreck all 4 of them, and now we're 2 abreast. 2 by 2, Noah's Ark up towards turn 4. The team Core Sim 1 Racing are all over the back of BMW, and I'll be honest, Daniel Ferrer will be able to design that livery onto his car by the end of this race, because he's seen every inch of it. He's still side by side, and it looks like a war team going against BMW. But here comes Kerem Havertz having a look back to try and get into 9th place, as I do have a checker flag coming out this time. So Prevost will be there very, very soon. He is there now. He has won the opening round of season 2 of the GT Pro trophy. Here is Odin Melvang, been 2nd place all the way through, but has to be second best to Prevost here today. But that's a good start to his championship. He seems happy with that for the RPC Esports team. And Lucas Lang for WS Racing Esports takes 3rd place, puts a Porsche on the podium, which I don't think we saw much of last year. 4th for Thomas Wangen and 5th for Thomas Kuleva. And it's Aarons who takes 6th.
Where's Daniel?
Oh yes, Daniel has disappeared down. He's down into 10th at the moment. And Havertz down to 14th, so I don't know if we can find a replay of that, but something has happened there between those 2 drivers, I believe.
Yeah, it must have been, but it's very strange because Kerem was quite far back from the BMW driver, so I'm not sure if those two hit. It may have been a mistake there, and then he got caught up in it. But yeah, disaster there for Darren Ferner, who was fighting super hard there to try and get that 6th place, but unfortunately finishing out on 10th for him. But great overall race, throughout the field. So let's have a look at the replay here. So fighting very hard, Thomas Arndt and Darren Ferner. I think that's coming down.
This is where we cut away from it. There is Daniel going round, and yeah, it looks like it may have been a separate incident. Yeah, separate incident, just as a check-up for the unfortunate Kerem Havertz, who finished 14th in the end, and all that hard work he put in flying through the field has come down to 14th in the end. So yeah, he was looking strong for the top 9. As we see it again.
Coming down the powerhouse, just gets a slight tap from behind. I think that was Carl Winkler, and then unfortunately Michael Palic got a bit offline and hit into Kerem Havertz, which obviously spun him round. But it's good to see that he didn't run out of fuel, but terrible to see his race sort of end that way, considering he was just flying there towards the end. But a bit of controversy on the last lap. But you said that before, trying to go too wide around that powerhouse is not always the best opportunity to do. But we can have a look at the race results there for round 1 of season 2 of the GT Trophy Pro season. So right out in front, Bad Privat. 16 seconds of Valkyrie competition ahead of Odin Mirovang in 2nd place. Lucas Lang securing the last spot on the podium in 3rd. Thomas Wangen making an excellent 4th place over the incessant Thomas Gover in 5th place, just biting his heels for pretty much a majority of that race, managing to come into 5th. 6th place, Thomas Ahrens getting over, winning out the battle for that 6th place over his teammates Carl Winkler and Malcolm Paulic. Alvin Rasmussen in 9th place, with Daniel Ferrer managing to secure that top 10, obviously fighting hard for that P6, but coming off worse there, as we saw on the last replay. Anders Lindholm managed to get 11th place, Marcus Bloom in 12th, Jeremy Bolzano in 13th, David Hendrick in 14th, Fernando Torres in 15th, Kerem Havertz all the way down to 16th. So he must have had a penalty coming over the line to be able to be down into 16th, because he was up in 14th. So terrible end to Kerem's race, which he was having a storm in towards the end there. So unfortunate for him. Dominic Engel there in 17th place, with Jurvan Janowski 3 laps down in 18th. Christian Schultz in 19th, 7 laps down, and Sandro Marcini in 20th. Some dodgy person just getting in on the end there, David White, 41 laps down. But yeah,
that's how
majority of it is. Yeah, but a bit unfortunate there for Kerem Havertz, but we certainly see the speed that the guy has got, and it's just so unfortunate that that happened to him just on that last lap, because he was on a flyer and he was our biggest gainer up until that point.
Yeah, certainly unfortunate for him, but that's the way it goes sometimes on the last lap. We currently have one driver waiting for an interview. That's Odin Myvang. So if you want to take that, Andy, I'll pop him in the commentary box.
Yeah, let's have a speak with Odin. Welcome to the commentary box, Odin, and welcome to your first season of ARL Racing in this GT Trophy Pro. How was it for you?
Thank you very much. It was fun. It was very fun.
Yeah, so you got a good qualifying position. You started in P2. Do you find that real big advantage being here at Red Bull? Because often you do see mistakes going into that first corner, but yourself and Prevot managed to make a jump on the rest of the field at the start. Was you just trying to shadow him as much as you can on the start of that race?
Well, when you're following second, it's pretty important to not let him jump and get away from you. So I tried to pay attention to when he was running away, and when he started going, I kept on going with him. And of course, it's an advantage into the first corner to not be in the cluster of people, but you never know. You can always get rear-ended into T1. So I kind of just tried to follow him and be clean through it, so I could get away with him.
So how was it in your first outing in an ARL league? How did you find the competition around you?
It's good competition. Didn't see much to do pretty well. He just went away and did his own thing. So I think I got to practice some more. Red Bull isn't my strongest track, so I'm hoping for a better result next time.
Well, I mean, a P2 is not a bad result on your first outing. I mean, we've got another 8 rounds. Is there any sort of tracks that you're really looking forward to that you'll feel you'll be quite strong at?
I don't even remember all the tracks, to be honest, but I think Sebring was one of them.
Yeah.
That's a track I like a lot. So that one, I'll say that one since I don't remember that.
Well, we got Silverstone coming up next week. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling for that one?
I'm gonna do my best. I don't know what to say. Not my favorite either, but I'm gonna work hard on Detroit. That's a favorite. That and Sebring is gonna be the ones I'm looking forward to at least.
So round 4 and round 9 for you then is your hotly contested ones where you try. But if Red Bull wasn't one of your best tracks and finishing in second place, it puts quite well for the rest of the season, and should put fear in a lot of drivers if this was your worst track and finishing in second place with an extremely strong outing. I must say, although you weren't under a lot of pressure through that race, you maintained your race pace throughout the race, and you didn't give Lucas Lang, who was catching a lot of the field at the start of the race, it sort of neutralized when he got that third place, and you managed to keep it to that 4-second advantage you had over him.
Yeah, luckily I kept it going. I had a lot of mistakes in the first half of the race, so I was just trying to keep everyone away. But I saw it pretty clearly. I wasn't gonna catch the one in front, so just managing myself and not making any bigger mistakes than I did was the plan, at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, a great outing for your first race in ARL to get that second place, puts you in good stead for the rest of the championship. Before we let you go, Odin, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my team. It's a fresh team. We all started together, and looking forward to get up on the positions more in in the next coming weeks. Hoping we all get up. That's about it. My team. Maybe my wife. She's probably watching. So hello, wifey.
Yeah, she did give you a shout out on YouTube. So
she loves me.
it's best giving the boss a shout out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Odin, in the commentary box, and good luck in Silverstone in the next round.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So there was Odin finishing second in this race, and we've got Lucas Lang who finished third, and I'll hand him over to you, Dave, for a chat.
Lucas, a great race for you, moving up one position ahead of Thomas, but you did have to fight for it in the first half of that race.
Yeah, it was really, really fun, the race. I really enjoyed it. Struggled a little bit about the top speed against the BMWs, which I expected, but I was surprised how good actually the Porsche was on this track, and I really, really had a lot of fun doing the race.
Yeah, throughout the race, we did notice that BMW didn't seem to have an advantage down the straights that we saw, say, last season. So maybe a few changes have been made there. But you managed to get Thomas just before the pit stop and pull away. And then was it just about controlling your third place because you didn't feel like you could get Auden, or was it just you didn't seem to have the pace today?
Yeah, pretty much. I noticed after the pit stop that the car wasn't as quick as it was before. So I started to feel like the tires were getting a little bit slippy, and I started to get some oversteer in some corners. So I tried to maintain a speed, looked at my fuel quite a lot because I wanted to make sure that I had enough fuel, because I put a little bit less in than I calculated before the race, because I could save some fuel in the first half of the race, and the second half, after the pit stop, I really tried just to don't make any mistakes and continue.
Yeah, it seemed like there wasn't a huge amount of mistakes, like missing apex is anything for you, but the pace of the field was quite equal throughout the season, throughout the race. Do you suspect that'll be the same throughout the season?
Yeah, I guess so. There are a lot of different tracks, and looked at qualifying pace. It was so close. I think that will be a close field through the whole season.
And is there any track that you're going, yes, I can't wait to race there?
There are 2 tracks. So first of all, it has to be Spa, which is my favorite track. And the second one I'm really looking forward to is Belle Isle, because I really enjoy this track on iRacing a lot. I really like it. So
Yeah, but Detroit's always been a circuit which sort of I've never got round to racing on iRacing, but I have watched racing around there, and it does create some good racing. Have you got a target for this season? Because obviously we're seeing a lot of new drivers in the series this year. So have you got a target where you're looking to try and win the championship, or were you just looking for a top 10, or what was your target?
no, I actually don't have a target. So it's the first time I race in ARL, so an Apex Racing League series, but I heard a lot of good things about it from my teammates.
That's good.
So I wanted to try one, but so I really have no idea how it's going to be. So I'm just trying to have fun, enjoy the series. Yeah, that's my target, to have fun.
Well, third place is a great start to the season, whether you're having fun or looking for results. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to say a shout out to?
Yeah. Shout out, of course, to my team, who I saw in the Discord that were supporting me through the whole race. So thank you very much. And to my family, they always keep an eye on the sim racing stuff, which is nice. So yeah, these 2 I want to thank you. And thank you for commentating on the race, and thank you for the whole organization.
Thank you very much, Lucas, and good luck in Silverstone.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
So that was Lucas Lang, who finished third in his debut race here with the GT3 Pro Series. So, yeah, what an event in terms of racing. We had a really close field. Yes, Prevost was away and gone during the race, but in general, it was only sort of half a second here or there or anything like that. So we're expecting a very competitive season, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great opener to what it looks like is going to be up into another good season. 11 brand new drivers. Didn't really know what to expect of them in this first race, but certainly they put their head above the parapet and showed that to the old and bold ARL racers that they're here to compete. And the top 3 there, we can see brand new drivers taking the win here. I mean, we got Silverstone next week. Love that track. Obviously, home of the British motor racing. Are you looking forward to it, Dave?
Yeah, Silverstone always creates great racing. Whatever happens, just don't always stick your nose up the inside of cops, because it may upset some people. But yeah, Silverstone's a great circuit. Always. It's not as flat as you think. I've ran round a half marathon around it before. It is quite technical. There's hills where you don't expect there to be hills, so it's not as easy as it can look, and very high speed, which yes will help the BMW, but then the other cars will gain through the corners. So it's going to be an interesting race. And like you say, we got Daytona, we got Detroit, we got Spa, we got Monza, and then we go to the twists of Bathurst, Watlings Glen, and Sebring. What a calendar we have coming up for season 2.
Yeah, definitely. But that draws us to a close for round 1 here at the Red Bull Ring. Just to our YouTube followers, if you did enjoy the broadcast, give us a thumbs up on there, and also click on the bell and subscribe to the channel to get notifications of all the series. We got many new series that are just going to be just about starting. We got a brand new TCR championship coming up on Thursday. We've got The prototype championship last 3 rounds coming up on Friday. We've got a brand new GT series starting up soon, a brand new MX5 series starting on Monday. So head over to apexracingleague.com and sign up to one of the games. Pretty much do every single car on there. Also join us on our social media page on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, or username just look for Apex Racing TV. So my name has been Andy Thompson. I've been joined in the commentary box with David Whitehouse and in productions by Lewis Aria. Please welcome to the brand new series of GT Pro and join us for the next round at Silverstone at the same time next week. So until then, from myself, good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.